Putin sends message to Trump, calls for cooperation with America. Democrat heads are going to explode when they read what Russian President Vladimir Putin said to President Donald Trump in a New Year greeting. The anti-Trump forces are so focused on finding collusion that any cooperation between the United States and Russia will be seen through that lens. Like it or not, both Putin and Trump see the value in improving relations between two of the world's strongest countries. In his message to Trump, Putin called for a pragmatic cooperation aimed at long-term perspective based on equality and mutual respect. The Associated Press reported Kremlin wants cooperation. The Russian president said that the development of constructive Russian-US dialogue is particularly important for strengthening strategic stability in the world and finding the optimal answers to global threats and challenges. The request for cooperation comes at a time when relations between the two world powers has hit rock bottom. With Democrats playing the role of warmongering neocons, a new Cold War has begun to develop. While Trump in the past signified his hope for a great relationship with Putin and Russia, recent developments aren't helping Russia is unhappy about new Magnitsky Act sanctions, or about the recent U.S. approval of arms sales to Ukraine, for use against Russian-backed separatists. Putin will continue Syrian support. A major stumbling block for peace and cooperation between the United States and Russia is the ongoing civil war in Syria. In his New Year message, President Putin addressed Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and offered his continued support. Putin vowed to continue to render every assistance to Syria in the protection of state sovereignty, unity and territorial integrity, Reuters reported. Earlier this month Putin ordered the Russian forces in Syria to start withdrawing from the country, but said Russia would keep its Mymim air base in Syria Latakia province as well as its naval facility at Tartus on a permanent basis. Russia first launched airstrikes in Syria in September 2015, its biggest Middle East intervention in decades, turning the tide of the conflict in Assad's favor. Putin took credit for defeating the Islamic State when he announced he was withdrawing Russian troops from Syria. President Putin spiked the football on his claim that his military defeated ISIS in Syria. In 2 years, the Russian armed forces, together with the Syrian army, have defeated the most lethal group of international terrorists, he said at the time, according to a translation done by CNN. In this regard, I have decided that a significant part of the Russian military contingent in the Syrian Arab Republic is returning home to Russia, he said. Sadly, he learned earlier this month, after an attack in the city of St. Petersburg, that he must still contend with ISIS attacks on the individual level. But thanks to a relentless onslaught by the United States and Russia, the terror group is on the run. And if Democrats can stop trying to drag America back to the 1980s, the two nations could join forces to finish them off.